Every day, millions of BIC pens are bought, sold, and used. 300 are sold every second worldwide. They are so popular that millions of pens are manufactured daily. Fortunately, one company is ready to meet this insatiable demand for pens. But how are BIC pens made? We visited the factory to discover how the world's most famous pens are produced. Manufacturing. It all began when the inventor of the ballpoint pen, Laszlo Biro, was not convinced of the usefulness of fountain pens or pencils for fast writing. For this reason, he wanted to design a more effective instrument for writing his reports. In 1938, he noticed how a wet ball left a trail of water as it rolled through a puddle, and this inspired the idea of the ballpoint pen. Later, he figured out how to store ink in a small device that would allow it to flow smoothly while writing without smudging. In 1951, the industrial inventor Marcel Biche, who had become a French citizen, popularized Laszlo's patent by developing a similar design under the BIC brand. Marcel drastically reduced the cost of his invention. Before him, ballpoint pens cost around $70, but he managed to lower the price to just $2, making them affordable for people with limited resources. After that, he continued to reduce the cost even further until it became one of the cheapest pens on the market. Thanks to its low price and high quality, the product quickly gained worldwide fame. Today, the BIC company has approximately 25 factories around the world, where billions of pens are produced each year. To visit the BIC pen factory, one must travel to Paris, the capital of France. Here is the headquarters of BIC. This company was founded in 1950. BIC's unique vision of the ballpoint pen quickly allowed it to dominate a large part of the market. Since then, more than 110 billion units have been manufactured. The key to producing the perfect pen lies in the small metal ball at the tip. The function of this ball is to control the flow of ink. When the pen is not in use, it seals the liquid ink inside. When writing, it rotates and transfers the precise amount of ink onto the paper. The manufacturing process of BIC pens begins with the ball. It resembles a golf ball. The balls are only 1 millimeter in diameter and are made of tungsten carbide. This is a very durable material, 10 times stronger than steel. In theory, these pens should last a lifetime. However, once the ink runs out, they are discarded. This material is so incredibly hard and resistant that it is also used to manufacture armor-piercing ammunition in the military industry. The tungsten carbide balls, just 1 millimeter in diameter, are made by subjecting fine powder to heat and enormous pressure in a machine called a compressor. However, after this process, the balls are not smooth or perfectly spherical. To achieve the necessary dimensions and geometry, the balls are placed in a polisher, a type of rotating drum. Inside, the balls are mixed with lubricating oil and a paste made of diamond powder. But pen manufacturers must ensure that all meet the necessary quality standards. Samples from all batches are taken to detect possible defects. If more than one ball in every 5,000 is found to be imperfect, the entire batch is discarded and destroyed. The metal balls that pass the test can then be attached to a female piece called the tip. This piece houses the ball and is made by stamping a piece of stainless steel. For it to function properly, it is crucial that the ball fits perfectly into the tip, leaving only a minimal gap for the ink to flow through. The production of pen tips begins with a manufacturing process known as stamping. This process is carried out as a mechanical operation, where one end of the piece is shaped into a rounded and slightly pointed form. Once the tip is ready, it must be assembled with the ball. But how do pen tips hold these tiny, slippery balls? This requires strict supervision to ensure that everything fits perfectly. When both pieces are correctly unified, they must undergo a test to determine whether the assembly affects the ink flow. However, even if the tip assembly is perfect, the ink must still have the correct viscosity. In the ink workshop, the master mixer creates the best ink in the city. It is a precise blend of dyes, resins, and solvents, consisting of 10% ink and 90% oil-based solvent. To ensure the mixture is correct and flows smoothly, it must be analyzed using a press that measures the ink's density with extraordinary precision. It is essential that the ink is neither too thick nor too watery. Subsequently, the ink is introduced into a plastic tube, which is shaped through extrusion and heat. The hexagonal tube of the pen is made from a type of plastic called polypropylene, a material that withstands extreme temperatures and impacts. Polypropylene is heated and injected into a mold that shapes the pen barrel. The same process applies to the cap and the pen's lid. These components are formed through injection molding, an industrial procedure that shapes plastic using continuous pressure and force. This is achieved by passing molten polymer through an opening, creating a cross-section identical to the shape of the opening. After this, the extruded material is cut to the desired size. This entire process is carried out with the help of an extruder machine, which melts plastic material and pumps it out through a nozzle at a uniform speed. Once this process is completed, the material is cooled with water. When all the pieces are formed, the BIC pens must be assembled. As the first step, the tungsten ball is embedded into the thinnest end of the tip. This task is performed in a large assembly hall, where numerous machines fit the pieces together 24 hours a day. The plastic tubes are filled with ink and attached to the tip. The ink is injected into a machine that dispenses 1.3 grams into the ink cartridge of each pen. Next, the tips are attached to the filled cartridges. All pens are inspected to ensure they contain all components and have caps and lids in the correct color. They can draw a continuous straight line for more than 2 kilometers without running out of ink. If the BIC pen is retractable, a spring must be added at this stage. For the retractable mechanism to function, a cam is used. Then, a plunger with small notches is applied so that it fits into the cam's teeth. To complete this complex process, all assembled parts of the ink reservoir and tip must be placed inside the pen body. Finally, a plastic cap is placed at the end, matching the ink color. Lastly, BIC pens are packaged in their respective boxes for distribution and sale worldwide. In the United States alone, an astonishing 1.6 billion disposable pens are used each year, with the guarantee that each cartridge can write up to 2 kilometers. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.